I was living at the time in LA with just a gangster drug dealer that I didn't know. I'm naive. White guy from Ohio, small town, joined the Navy, got out of the Navy, didn't hang out with Navy guys. I get to LA and I don't realize I moved in with a big time drug dealer. And so I'm seeing a lot. I don't need to get into it, but I saw a lot my first year in LA. I saw a lot of drugs, saw hookers, saw just gangsta shit that if I told all the stories, people would be like, really? But people that know the dude I live with, he's in prison right now. But if people that know him, that know the real story, they're like, okay, yeah, you live with a real one right there. But I remember me and him, we lived together, right? So he asked me to house sit for him. And I'm living in a small apartment in North Hollywood. I got a roommate. He says, he goes, yo, G, man, I'm leaving town for a couple months. I was wondering if you could house sit for me. Couple months he's leaving town. I said, let me go look at the house. I go to the house. It's his fat ass crib in Bel Air. Fat. I was like, what? I'm out. I got my roommate this month and next month's rent. I go, find a new roommate, bro. I'm out. So I move in with this guy, right? And the first month was great. He was never there. I put pictures of me on the wall. I'm bringing girls over. Everybody thinks this is my shit. I'm talking, it had a pool. It had an inside and outside jacuzzi. We had a sauna inside. It was a fat-ass crib, right? Had some epic parties at that crib. And but then I guess the lease was up. I don't know. We had to move. So we move in together. We move into another house, which is another fat-ass house, but not as fat as the first one. So now we're living in another part of L.A. And long story short, I'm home one day and the landlord shows up and was like, "Oh, you haven't been paying your rent." And I go, "Yeah, I have." So I was paying my half, but he wasn't paying his half. And I go, "Oh." And then I started to see a lot. I started to see drugs. I remember one time I came home, and I can share this story now. It's 20-some years ago. I came home one time off the road, and there was 2 girls in my bedroom. Bad-ass chicks. And I go, "Oh." And I was like, first I was a little taken back, like, why are these girls in my room? And then I go, "Oh, sorry, we didn't know you were coming home today." I said, "All right." So I go to my boy who I'm living with, and I go, "Yo, dude, what's up with the girls?" He goes, "Oh, yeah, I was looking out for them this week." Long story short, they were high-price hookers, high-end call girls. They were probably going to the Palisades or Hidden Hills or Beverly Hills. And all my roommate was doing was basically making sure they got their money and sat in the car and make sure nothing funny happened to them. But while they were in town, in between gigs, they're staying at our house. I'm not home. At this point, his cousin's living with us too. So they're in my room. And then he was like, "Yo," I remember he said, he goes, "Yo, man, yeah, they leaving tomorrow, man. I mean, I can bring them to my room, or if you want them to stay here, it's cool." And the way he said it's cool was like, if I want to do something, I could do something on the house. Now, I'm young, man. I don't know any better. I'm freaking out a little bit. I was like, "No, I'm good. Now, take divorce, Gary, years later, yeah, I would have had a ball that night with those 2 girls. But I'm still out of it at this point. I'm like, "Nah, I'm good." So they left. Now, when the girls moved out of my room and moved into my roommate's room, I'm sure he had a great night. I was pissed in my room, like, "Motherfucker, this is my space, this is my room." And then I started looking around my room. My room smelled amazing. They washed my sheets. They washed my bed. And they weren't doing tricks in my bed. They were going to other people. So I don't want people listening to this thinking, "Oh, they must have been tricking off in your bed." Fucking no. They were going somewhere else. And so now my room smelled amazing. I looked over, all my clothes was washed and folded and hung up. My room never looked so good and smelled amazing. I was like, "Oh, wow." So, yeah, they could probably stay here whenever they want when I'm out of town. I was like, but that's just a story of what I was living with at the time.